is finally here. The moment of truth. Well, not really. It's all opinion based, but it's always fun to know others. While it is considered the best of the best, it tends to fall under the most favorite. Everything is subjective, and we can learn to agree or disagree. Who knows? My favorite can be your worst, my worst can be your best, and so on. That said, it is my time to express my thoughts on my top 5 best anime of the year. Here are the rules. Anime has to be released around this year and ended as well. You may be wondering if that one series didn't make it and such. The rule won't allow it. Therefore, I will put it in my honorable mention list before they reach to the number 1 anime. Honestly, outside of the first, it's really hard on what to place these series in the list. Also, just because one rank higher than the other, it doesn't mean I think this is better than that. Opinion can change over time in the future, but make no mistake, these are the ones that I really enjoyed. This is it. It is time to go over for the last time before the year ends. This is the 5 best anime of 2016. Okay, before I go over with the series, I should pinpoint the obvious. It's the yaoi innuendo or the way in. It's not a deciding factor for me. Yes, it can be a little overboard. Not because I don't like it. In fact, I saw it as a strong factor. It can distract the other picture though. Not a lot, just a bit. That being said, I can't help but really like this series a lot. Much like One Punch Man being seen as overrated even though I was a fan beforehand, this series really carries itself to make a name for itself. Yuri Katsuki returns home after suffering a defeat back at the Grand Prix of figure skating final. He starts to feel unmotivated to go back on his dream. One day, he performs a skating routine at an ice rink that mimics his idol, Viktor Nikiforov, the famous Russian figure skater. Unfortunately, not only he was recorded on camera, but it was uploaded to World Wide Web and everyone has taken notice, including Victor. Therefore, he takes a trip to Japan and decides to coach Yuri to win the Grand Prix. The story is a sports story, so you have to rely on the characters to carry it forward. And thankfully, they truly shine. Yuri is not a typical loser, rather always comes short when the time is needed, so he just needs a motivational drive, which differs in a good way. You can be easily convinced that he is talented, yet he just needs something to push him forward, so the evolution to his skills is believable. Victor is definitely a crowd pleaser on the eyes, but he's a lot of fun with his Russian accent and how he is so laid back on his job. Whatever he does, he just does it. The relationship between him and Yuri feels real, that it really makes a standout piece. You could buy into their bonds and how much they work well together. There are other characters that are delightful. Even for those who got a little screen time in compare, they managed to make me care. That's not an easy feat. What truly shines is without a doubt the figure skating routine. It is simply majestic. While it would have been nice to learn the technical aspect further, the form of the art is greatly exploited. It brings tons of character to the one who is performing, connects to their personality, and most of all, become emotionally connected. You can feel fear when you see a risky move. I feel like I was watching a real life performance. It adds a lot when real life skaters acknowledge the accurate direction. The animation is pretty solid as the atmosphere creates the environment of a world within a world, not only because of his work of art or how characters express themselves, but because of the soundtrack. It's perhaps the best of the year. It adds more layers to the performance, characters, and the environment. All in all, it creates a sublime moment of a lifetime. While the ending is good, it's a bit crammed in, due to the last episode leaving little time to add more. Regardless, the characters, the driven experience, and the skating are the real gem. I can't help but think because of the series actually being more than good, which stands out more than anything, say free, it has given a lot of attention to the point that community exposes more of his homophobic nature. That's disappointing, but I guess I should have known better to begin with. I don't care if it has homosexual love or not, so long I got something that I can simply enjoy. In the end, this was a really joyful series, and if there's a second season, fire it away. If it's born to make history, it certainly has done it. This is one series that the more I look back at it, the more it starts to get better. I already read the manga before the anime concluded, yet I am left with more satisfaction. Middle school kids return to class only to have a new teacher, Koro Sensei, an odd octopus-looking creature that can go at the speed of Mach 20. However, he plans to destroy the world in a year. The only way to stop him is to have these kids to do one mission: assassinate him. They have a year to accomplish, or the rest is history. This is season 2 of the series, and is also the definitive conclusion. That said, it covers a lot of interesting and compelling aspects of the story. The first season is a lot of good fun time. This season, however, is more personal, more educational, and downright tons of fun. More than ever before. There are many characters in here, but unlike Mayo Iga, this one has taken time to develop and showcase many of them. While not all of them will get the same amount of developments, it certainly overshadows the negative. Many of them are charming, delightful, and at times relatable. Even with the idea of killing is centered, it also contains one of the best plot twists that I have seen this year by far. In fact, probably the best one. Small random fact, the manga is actually stronger than the anime when it comes to delivering the plot twist, but still, the anime did a good job on capitalizing. The connection can be profound when the more you go into the journey, the more you feel like you don't want to go another way, or rather the path you have given to. There was a moment that could have copped out the story, but to my surprise, it adds a lot of depth and makes the moment all the merrier. The animation is pretty consistent and has a nice vibrant color to the atmosphere. It sure makes me feel like going back to school. College isn't the same. The soundtrack is pretty nice and charming at times. It captures the right mood of what's taking place, especially in the flashback. The ending is, to this day, the best that Weekly Shonen Jump has to offer this year. And now I think about it, perhaps the best one in general. It has a strong morality and message so everyone can understand and appreciate the journey we embarked. While there are a bit of hiccups, the anime actually helped a lot to override the cons. Not that the manga didn't do well, but the anime did it profoundly. Of course, I won't give it away the ending, but the raw emotion towards the end reminds me of Metal Gear Solid 3, only there is happiness down the line. It's an incredible joy for anyone to be touched upon, and one wouldn't want to hear class dismissed. Yes, the third season of Haikyuu. And I can't say it's the best one, but because the other one isn't qualified, this one still holds up as one of the best of the year. Shoyo Hinata had a difficult time in volleyball back in middle school. His team got squashed by the king of the court, Tabio Kageyama. He proclaimed him as his rival. After graduation, Hinata enters Korosuna High School volleyball team, and surprised, his newfound rival is now his teammate. Together and others, they aim for the Nationals and the Grand Trophy. This is the third installment, and this focuses on the final. Only one game is presented, hence only 10 episodes. Yet, that is enough to grasp the best anime title on my end. If you haven't watched it before, you should definitely give it a try, especially if you're into sports. I won't give it away, but what Haikyuu does best continues to shine here. The game is tense as ever. It has so many chilling moments that you'll be breathless at times. The game isn't formulaic as whether there's a combat time. It doesn't always go that way. In some sports series, you can see the combat or a downhill coming a mile away, but this one has no pattern. You just have to hope that they can get the score. There are moments that can get so intense that you forget how much time you have left in the episode. It's very captivating. As for the characters, they're still great as ever, carrying over since season 1 All of them are charming, identifiable, and delightful. You just want them to succeed. You want to see them finally achieve that dream. There's a moment that is my personal favorite that has such a powerful raw emotion that brought a lot of character. The voice actor did a swell job on capturing that picture. The animation is great for a sports series. It has a lot of movements going on. The atmosphere is exhilarating and is as tense as it can get. Once again, voice actor give a lot of emotional deliveries and humorous moments. The soundtrack is engaging, rightfully so for the final. From top to bottom, it's a great treat. The ending, well, I can't say anything if it gives it away, but it's something else. I may prefer the second season in the long run because of its content, but it's not that season 3 was anything disappointment. I mean, look at that poster. That has final hype written all over it. Anyway, the series is downright fantastic. Plus, season 2 does have Spy Air for an opening. That's a win. Debate aside, it's a highly entertainment series that encouraged me to try out volleyball one day. Here we go. This is more like it. This series kicks ass, and I don't normally say that for a series. No need for waifu simulation, no need for fan service. This is Mob Psycho 100 in all of its glory. Okay, you can still do fan arts and fictions, which I have no control over that, but this series still kicks ass. Kageyama Shigeru, or Bob as people like to call him, is an 8th grade student with psychic power. However, he begins to see it as a negative to his own character as it doesn't bring him joy, including gaining affection with Tsubumi. As he seeks other traits to improve on, he meets Reigen, who becomes his mentor for psychic, even though he has no actual knowledge. It's the journey to improve and to search a purpose in life. This serves as an introduction to his world, and it does a great job on it. It introduced the concept of a boy who seems to have a unique power, yet managed to be motivated to improve in other aspects, like an ordinary human. It's surprisingly relatable and appealing to see the lesson he will go through. This is one's creation, the man that brought you One Punch Man, though this series is where he puts more into characters' writing, so they come off more profound. Mob has arguably the power that we would have loved to have, yet he sees it differently than a great thing. It portrays the significance of human nature growth rather than supernatural, which speaks a lot of volume. It also covers the real life aspects of what it is right and what is time to break the rule. Bob is written more relatable than one would expect and is compelling. Reigen is an awesome character. He's like a con artist, or is one, that has a dignity to save people who ask for help with supernatural assist. It's not that he wants to take advantage of their simple-minded fear, rather he does it to bring it satisfaction, even if it's through falsely attempt of actually removing their said problem. What stands out is that he's very charismatic and he can attract to others just by saying so. He also has a belief in a good and right intention. The stuff he says to Mob is inspirational and encouraging, even if he isn't truthful about being a psychic master. One moment that always stands out to me is when Mob was discussing with Reigen about con artists, and Mob said that they are the worst. Instead of the comedy ensue, like Reigen reacted funny or comical effect, he agrees with him, like he doesn't do it as well. When you see how he works, you can greatly appreciate his action. The bond between these two is great. They need each other. They can work out their differences in comedic and serious fashion. It even ends with a random moment that seems like a last minute insert, but it just wants to display more of their bonding time because it can be heartwarming. These two make the show strong. The rest of the characters are a lot of fun and all in all, nice. What's also fun and nice is the action. They're among the strongest perk of the series. Usually when it comes to Sakuga happy animation, it can be exciting, though at times leaves substance behind or lack thereof. However, because of its nature and writing, it benefits it tremendously. The art can be tough at first due to the simple design and not as appealing to the macho heavy fans. However, you start to appreciate more and more as the series progresses, and because of its art direction, it's hard to say if these type of animation hurts the quality. It hit near perfect line of best of both worlds. Again, the action is intense with fast-paced movements and hard-hitting impact. there are also many hilarious expressions. The soundtrack is blood pumping, one of the best that the studio has to offer. It is a rush feeling of things is going down. It gets you amped up to see the character start kicking ass. The fights also have morals and rewards, so you don't come back without feeling just entertained. You get to learn something through good writing. The ending leaves pinpoints of what's to come for the next season, if any, as I have not heard any announcement at this time. It introduced the concept, the characters, and left with more to come. It was a hell of a ride that hopefully gets another 100% return. It's time. We have finally arrived. Before we go to number 1, here are the honorable mentions. If you were to tell me to watch this anime 15 years ago, I would've go for it. Fortunately, I am open for anything, and thankfully, I found my best anime of the year. This series isn't a battle series. It's not sports. It's not comedy. It's Rakugo. Yotaro, a former Yakuza member, is out of prison after serving time. Instead of returning to the old life, he proceeds to embark a new one that takes a traditional Japanese form of comedic storytelling called Rakugo. His inspiration, Yakumo Yurakute, is who he claimed to be the man who changed his life. After confrontation, Yakumo has chosen him as his first apprentice, and the training now begins. As good as the first episode is, as well as the synopsis, the series takes the liberty to explore the past of Yakumo, and it does occur in the next episode. As it does sound like it takes away from watching the characters that we are introduced in the first episode, it brings in something grand, something exquisite, and something magnificent. It covers the story of Yakumo and his days growing up in the life of Rakugo with his best friend Tsukeroku, where they inherited the name of Yurakute. The way I can describe the atmosphere is real. The characters are portrayed neither as innocent nor guilty. People make mistakes, they make dire decisions, and everything feels genuine. There will be characters that should upset you, but not because of the bad writing, but because of what they are written to be. It captures the time progression really well, as one event could affect their life or even their lifestyle. You see how it starts to grow and crumble. You begin to feel sad that time is changing and one life is disappearing. It's hard to keep it up. As for characters, you can see how one will fall, bounce back, and so on. Nothing can be said on what they're doing is a right or smart move. The bond between Yakumo and Tsukeroku is genuine. The path they go is something that can easily happen to anyone in real life. All it takes is love and care. Even when knowing the end path, I can't help but be emotionally invested. The Rakugo segment are pleasant and sublime. These moments present the character really well. It also features moments of characteristics being displayed, whether it's from themselves or in the audience. It has a strong meaning that attracts you. That said, it is a deciding factor on whether you can watch this series with those moments happening. It can take a lot of time. And although it is a work of art, it depends on your taste. If you have the patience, enjoy the charm. The animation is very nice. I don't recall Studio Dean to have this much quality, although it's been a while of seeing his work, so that is my fault. I guess I gotta say one thing. Studio Dean, save anime! Yeah, joking aside, the soundtrack is also very nice, and it fits the right tone of the setting. The voice work is wonderfully done. They put a lot of effort when it comes to Rokugo scenes. Exploit the characters extraordinary without the use of exposition. It's the imagery and the strong narrative that brings out the true light. The ending has a great send-off for the next season to unfold, as well as a powerful moment. As stated before, the anime goes into the past, but by the end, it gradually makes everything so significant. Because of it, you'll be ready to see what the present can do to contribute the life of one man's passion. It's glorious. I could go on how great this series is, and season 2 is just around the corner. It is going to be tough to capture the glory of the first season with its great narration and payoff, especially if the present time doesn't hold up. Time will tell, and I'll be watching to find out. Regardless of what the future may hold for the series, this season certainly capitalized on its sheer greatness. It has strong narrative, great realistic characters, awe-inspiring Rakugo segments, and a strong ending that leaves you anticipated for more. It was released in the first season, and in the end, is my best anime of 2016. It has been fun sharing with you. What's your best anime of the year? Share it in the comments. A new batch of anime is coming, and I'll be waiting. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and my world will be yours to stay. Take care, and see you all next year.